Well, good morning, guys. Lovely to be here again, and it's the start of a new project. This time it's this plan which I printed out, and following the successful Maiden of the Hawker Hunter yesterday, so I'm still on a high. It's time to slow things down a little bit. Now, on the community app, Mike Newton Parker just asked me what's next, so I told him. So what is it? It's another Mike Roach design. This was the same guy who designed my DH2 pusher, which I built last year, and I enjoyed building it so much I wanted to build another model, not necessarily of Mike's, but of one that I also built last year. That was the rubber powered Sopwith Triplane, and I looked on AutoZone at plans. Nice size that came up that I fancied the look of turned out to be another Mike Roach design. So it was a no-brainer that this is the model I should build. If you want to see why I'm laughing, look at the outtakes. So let me bend you down and you can see what it looks like. Designed originally for a rudder and elevator. So I've spoken to Mike on RC groups and he suggested ailerons would be a very good modification. So I'm going to put ailerons on. Okay, I've put a suitable piece of wood under the plan. The other thing worth noting is that the piece of wood I'm going to cut out is shown by these big triangles here, all the way around. So I'm just going to pin prick that shape out, and the struts actually fit into the fuselage side. So I put one pin in that corner, which marks it. Put one in that corner. One up to there. Be as accurate as you can, because these struts are quite an important position. The dark arrows are the shape for the plywood cheeks which wrap around the outside, and then the back half is covered with fabric of the angles that go up to form the cowl shape. So ignore the black ones. The original motor was a Speed 400 geared, which sits completely differently. I don't need the motor plate, actually, forget that. I don't need the motor plate because I'm going to bolt it to the firewall and pack it accordingly to get the right and down thrust. I'm not going to cut all the way through just yet, because if you do, you lose the dot with the cuts. Make sure you've got the knife as upright as you can get it, because you've got to glue that, possibly glue stringers, to the top of this piece. There we go. One fuselage side. Right, I'll just trace around this with this scalpel and cut it out. I've cut out the two sides, opposites of course, and now I'm going to strip up some 1/8 wood. Okay, bit of plastic, pin down, and we can start. So it's going to go there. I'm going to glue these in using white glue. In this case, it's Speed Bond. Plenty. Pop that on there. Make sure it's to the right. Back there. Make sure it's to the right length. I'm not putting it through because it would split. These are fat pins and it's hard wood, but I can put it to the side, pressing this way. And put one more on for good luck if you want, won't hurt. And it's nice and down. Another tip for you, when you're cutting these, if you start at the longest one, if you should cut it short, you can always move it to the next one down, but if you start at the short end, you can't add to it. I'm going to turn them upside down because they're flat on that side. Oops, they're flat on that side. And I'm going to glue them together over the plan. I've cut out two formers out of light ply, and this F1 is actually the dimensions of it are actually less on the former plan itself than they are on the side view of the fuselage. But as the undercarriage mounts down here, I don't mind because I can add something to it. F2 is the same width. Yeah, it's the same width. So I can glue those on at 90 degrees, and then when they're dry, I can glue the two halves together upside down. Use white glue down the bulk of it, and then CA either end to hold it, and then I can run a bead of white glue in behind it when it's set on the ends. So that's going to go on there like that. That's going to glue on there like that. And then I can put the blocks against it to hold it in place. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, so I've had this drying for a couple of hours. Let's have a look at it. I just wanted to make sure nothing moved here. So I put all that together. Put that there. Right, the bit of light ply in on the back, and there are cross braces to go in top and bottom, and then the curved bits go on the top of those. Let's just unpin this and cut them, I think. I managed to put one cross brace in while it was upside down just to hold that apart. So what I've got to do now is to put these in, and the best way to do that is to measure them straight off of the plan. I'm going to cut a pair at a time, and then I can glue them in so they're the same size top and bottom. This is really my sort of model. You think this is a 1917? It says somewhere. This is a model from 1917, okay, and it's now 2024. That's a 107-year-old design. 107 years old. That's just mind-boggling, isn't it? 107 years old. I think that's just amazing. Right, let's glue those in. Now the thing is, these are shorter because the body needs to be squeezed in. So the question is, how am I going to do that? We pulled in equally both sides. I think I'll have to put it back down over the plan. That's the only way to do it properly. So that's one set in. I'll do the others, and then I'll come back to you guys when I have a look at it, see what it looks like. Some people like to cut out a complete kit before they start. I kind of like cut out bits as I need them. I'm just popping in the stringers. I've made it reasonably hard 1/16 because there's nothing worse than breaking stringers. Any slight imperfections, when I sand them, they'll all come to the same level. Not really used accelerator before. It's only after seeing Chris use it on his Hunter build, I think it was. I love it. It really does make it go off fast, and it wasn't that expensive, and this is probably going to last me a long time. Don't use it all the time, but for jobs like this it's perfect. When I mention Chris, by the way, I'm talking about Dad's RC Hanger. Check him out if you're not a viewer, subscriber. I think it'll be alright. There we are then, guys. That's a bit more done. So now that back end is stiffening up beautifully. Pretty good progress. I've put in the triangular supports behind. They're also handy when, if you, as and when maybe you hand launch, you're not going to put your hands through the side. I've added the little bracket for the tail skid inside. I've added the piece of wood in the back for the fin hinge, finishes that off. I've added the 3 top F1As, aren't they called? Yeah. I've extended them slightly in the bottom, and if I need to I'll sand them down a little bit, but at least they reach now. And I put a couple of servo rails in because I found a little tray, and that'll just go in there from the bottom, and then the control runs can go down the fuselage, so that's okay. If I fit the struts next, I can lay it down and to glue them in. I'll cut out 4 of those, laminate them up, and then I'll see you back when that's all done, and then we can glue those in. So yeah, pretty good progress. It's looking nice. I went out to the model shop. We're very lucky to have one. And I bought myself some 0.8mm plywood. With that, I've made the struts, and here they are. 2 laminations, making them up to 1.6mm, and finished off a piece of wood to take it up to the correct depth, which we want sanding now. I also made the plywood reinforcement panels that go on the inside of that, which holds that nice and stiff. And I also cut out the nose ring and the 1/4 inch balsa one, which will be sanded round. I've also cut out the 2 light ply rings which form the actual cowl, and then I've got some 0.4 ply to go around the outside. It says 2 layers of, so that'll bring it up to the same diameter as that, which will stick on the front, so that will form the cowl. So I need to cut some spacers to glue in here and let that set overnight, and then I can try and roll, possibly, or maybe roll a little bit and CA it, and roll a bit more and CA it. I probably won't make it the same width as this, just in case it goes off course. I might make it wider. I don't know. I'll think about that. I'll have to see how Mark Croucher did his in a couple of weeks ago for the Ladybird. So that's cut out. I've also cut out, let me show you. So I have been busy. I cut out the main wing struts, the outer wing struts I should say. Again, they're 0.8mm ply sandwiched together to form 1.6. They're the outboard struts, which are exactly the same as the inboard struts, except obviously they stretch out to the bottom wing. I've also cut out three pairs of control horns out of 1/16 ply, ready for closed loop. Those. Oh, I also realised out of 0.8 ply I needed 12 wing ribs in ply, which go either side of this outer rib that takes the outer strut, it beefs it up. So I made 12 of those as well. So I made this, it's the starting of a cowl, and that'll go on there. It's got to be wrapped with 2 laminations of 0.4mm plywood. Let's just get the CA out and see if we can get this to work. Cut edge. That's the inside edge. Okay, just hold that there a minute. Try and get some of that in there. Oh, each one. It's important to get it tight. Looking good. Okay, now I'm just going to run CA all the way around on that edge. It's pretty good actually. Right, let's get rid of sawdust. Okay, very good. We'll let that set now and come back to it and sand it the same way as I did on the other one. Let's just remove some of that glue squeezing out. It's a good thing to see, isn't it? I'll tell you what, let's stop the video here. If I stop it now, before I get too far into the build, it means I can have a little bit more detail as I build. So what it is that I am building, to remind you, is a Sopwith Triplane. What does this Sopwith Triplane look like, Cliff? Well, here's one I built earlier. This is my small rubber powered one from Vintage Model Company. You can see the similarities, I hope. And but this one's actually, I think this is about 18 inch, so this one's 36, so it's actually twice size. So 36 inch span is a nice size. You can get it in the car because don't forget this model is a one-piece model. It's not rigged at the field. And yeah, I'm really enjoying building it. I've just finished the Hawker Hunter and flown it. So this is a nice built up, more traditional sort of model, which I love. Particularly the early warplanes. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for following along. Give the video a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button just down below, and I'll link to part 2 at the end of this video as soon as I've filmed it, which will be the tail, finishing the fuselage and putting the tail feathers together and sort of putting it together, seeing how it looks. Okay guys, thank you very much indeed for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, bye, bye bye, bye bye bye. Yeah, here's a glass of orange juice. Cheers. So it was a no-brainer that. So it was a no-brainer that was. So it was a no-brainer that was the model I was going to. Now I'm laughing. So it was a no-brainer that. I've done it again. That. So it was a no-brainer that this is the model I should build.